Hey guys, yeah, today was good. I was doing a really good video and then I just veered off into some weird AJ world that didn't need to be spoken out loud. So I have to redo it. Grr. Ugh, I'm good. It's all good. Um, yeah, so I've been freaked out for the past 2 weeks about this visit from our customer. And my portion of this presentation was 5 minutes. And I walked up and I did it. And everybody, I have never felt so seen by so many levels of the organization, two different organizations. Because when I talked, I was animated. I was everything you would want in a quality engineer and more. And when I got done talking, I had the customer eating out of my hand saying, "You are correct. This should be a perfectly good part. There's no reason why this should have been rejected." Blah, 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 blah. Not telling them, of course, that the person rejecting it was standing over that way and needed to, I want to say man up, but she's a woman. Um, and just say, "There's nothing wrong with this part," to her people and say, "Use it." So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was kind of interesting to listen to the different layers of management at my company complaining about one of the higher ups. And then I actually got to spend a little bit of time with our new site general manager and just talk to him for a second. Basically, I was filling him in on a restaurant that's local to Seymour, Indiana, that's pretty cool. It's called Reed's Place. If you ever get to Seymour, I wouldn't suggest going there, but if you ever have to, Reed's Place, it's a steakhouse. They locally source their beef. It's pretty good. But I got to talk to him about that. He's a nice guy. We both worked at Johnson Controls at one point, and in seating. Ooh, okay, that was a hottie that just hiked, or it was just jogging by. So we actually knew people in common. He was a plant manager at a seating facility, and I worked for a plant manager at a seating facility. So I was listing off names, and he's like, "I know that guy. I know that guy. I know that guy." And I was like, "Oh, cool, cool." So anyway, it wound up being good. And then I sit there and go, "Why do you make such mountains out of molehills?" And when I look at my life in general, you go, "Holy crap, look at that volcano." And then you walk up to it and it's this tall. You're like, "Why was that so upsetting?" My love life. Yes, it sucks. Yes, dating sucks. I'm not unattractive. When I sit and beat myself up because guys don't seem to want to go out with me, that's a lie. A lot of guys try to go out with me. I'm picky as sin, I think, is my problem. What I want has to be organic. It can't be forced. So it's kind of like you're sitting there waiting for something to just appear, and it needs to be this like cool, miraculous thing. And that's tough. It's very tough. And it's not like I'm, 25. I'm in my mid-50s this year. And most guys that are out there that are single at my age look like the Crypt Keeper, which I look at this and I'm not happy. And I complain about my stomach, but this is muscle with a little bit of fat right here. I'm not in bad shape. For my age, I'm really good. I put 30-year-olds to shame. I have 20-some-year-olds and teenagers that I walk up to at the gym and walk them through what's wrong with what they're doing. And I look at their weights and I'm like, and actually they come up to me and I'm doing stuff and they're like, I said, "This is pretty shit weight I'm working on right now." And they're like, "Dude, that's twice what I can do." And I'm like, "Yeah, I should be at $150, not $130 for bicep cable curls." And they're like, that's really good. And I'm like, no, not for me, it's not. And I said, for you, this would be really good. And I only say that because I've been working on this for 2 years, nonstop, excessively. I should be much better than I am, but I hurt my shoulder. And they all laugh at me. And so the theme I have going on is I put way too much pressure on the universe. I'm surprised it hasn't cracked yet. I'm surprised I haven't cracked yet. I've wanted to today. Oh my God, I wanted to start crying. I'm like, I don't see how any of this is going to work. I was going to look for a new apartment. I had lists of things that I needed to do. And I got a note from my apartment complex saying, hey, did you know your lease is almost up at the end of next month? And you have to give us 2 months notice. So if this is April, April's almost over. May, then you'd have to do month to month and then be out somewhere in June or July. And as I sat there going, okay, I could probably lower my rent by $500, $600 going someplace else. I'd have to move. And I just started listing off all the things I'd have to do. And I'm like, is it worth it? Not really. I kind of like where I'm at. I'm whiny about it, but I kind of like where I'm at. And I'm just used to everything. So it's like, why would I move? Why am I doing things? Why am I upset by this? You see what's happening? I'm talking myself into staying. I've talked myself into staying at this job multiple times this week. And it's like, okay, I'm not ready. And I then question, does this translate into you're not ready to date? Maybe I'm not. I think I am. I mean, the couple guys I've gone out with, I liked them. They were cool. Tyler, there was a reason. Tyler presented himself incorrectly. I don't manage less than full honesty very well. So that's not really his fault. He didn't know that that's how the world works for me. But, if you have pictures and you say, I look just like my pictures, and his pictures were really cute, but they were like not what he looks like now. And I'm like, okay, how long ago were these pictures? And he told me, and I'm like, oh God, not that long ago, but he just like that. So, and there just wasn't, the spark wasn't all that great. So I'm like, yeah, next. And the next guy was like, not cute, yes. A little bit of a rehab. It was perfectly fine. He was perfectly fine. But if you get butthurt because I have more Twitter followers than you do, as I'm sitting there going, how is this a thing that you're telling me that this is upsetting to you? And here he is posting him masturbating on his Twitter, and then he's comparing it to mine, and I'm like, dude, I don't have to show anything to get 10,000 followers. You don't even have 2,000, and you're showing everything. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, I really like you. And I'm like, no, you don't. That's not it. This won't work. First off, my friends would all be like, oh, I've seen, yeah, I know. So, I don't think I'm being too picky. I might be, but I don't think I am. I would have stuck it out with Ethan. Ethan was a little young, but he had a really good heart, but he wandered off. And if you wander off, good luck. Godspeed. Yeah, I don't know. I I have to reevaluate my perception and my perspective. And I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure that I'm at least in the ballpark of where I need to be. But once again, like taking 2 weeks to figure out all this stuff and cramming everything in at the last minute and doing all this math and all this other crazy garbage to put together this presentation, and then it took 5 minutes. And at the end of the 5 minutes, everybody was smiling and happy. And I'm like, that was a lot of work. Much like working out, my exercising, much like all the effort I put into everything I do, it's just this intense amount of pressure down to this like tiny little point, and then it's gonna go, except it doesn't, because it's so pressurized it's now never gonna be big. And everybody, when I finally show it to people, they're like, oh, that's kind of cute. And that's it. That's the end of it. Everybody's smiling and happy. And I'm sitting there going, I just did a lot of work to do that. This is a lot of work. What I'm doing up here is a lot of work. What I'm doing to present myself in the world is a lot of work. It's fun for me when I watch other people just kind of stroll through life with not a care in the world and things just fall in their lap. And I'm like, what? How does that happen for you? And here I am counting calories and then counting, how many reps I do and how much weight I'm moving and blah, 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 blah. Meticulously noting everything that's going on so I can sit there and go, okay, this works and this doesn't. I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this other thing. And at the end of the day, somebody else can just walk into the room, wave at somebody, and they're in a relationship. I walk into a room, study everybody, try to figure out who would be a good candidate, who won't be, who I want to talk to, and in the end, I talk to nobody and go home angry and deflated. Do you see where I'm coming from? This is just... I got some work to do. I have to figure this out. Anyway. So my day from hell turns out to be not so hellish. And I don't know what to make of it. And now I'm going to be stuck here for another year. And I'm not upset. I need to pay down some credit card debt. I need to do some things. I need to do some things for me. Maybe a little traveling would be cool. You know I won't do that, right? I will whine about it and say how I should, and then I won't, because it would involve getting way outside of my comfort zone and trying to figure out how to make things function in a world where I'm good for about 70% of everything, but that 30% that I'm not good at is what I depend on other people for, and I don't really have anybody else I can depend on currently. I love you guys. I love you, dude. Do you have any suggestions or comments? I'm all ears.